I've managed to get a 999 credit score in Experian. In this video, I'm going to give you 6 tips on how you can start to improve your credit score. Before I get into the video, I just want to make a very quick point. There's tons of videos on YouTube that claim that they're going to show you how to increase your credit score fast. This does make a more enticing YouTube video title, but in reality, unless these people know something that I don't, significantly improving your credit score tends to happen over the long term. Your credit score will increase steadily by doing the right things over a long period of time. So don't stress if you don't start seeing huge increases in your credit score over the next few weeks. Anyway, let's get into it. If you watched my previous video, you'll remember that I mentioned it was important that you know what information the credit reference agencies hold on you. Of course, to improve your credit score, you first need to find out what it is that you need to work on. So if you haven't already signed up to ClearScore, Credit Karma, and Experian, go do that first, then come back and watch this video once you've finished. So tip number 1. Fix any mistakes that are on your file. Look at the information within each of the 3 apps and see if any of the details are wrong. A small thing like an incorrect date of birth or wrong address can have a big impact on your credit score. I've got a negative note on my file that says I'm not on the electoral roll. That's because as a non-British citizen, I can't actually be on the electoral roll. I had to submit what is called a notice of correction to the credit reference agencies to explain why I wasn't on the electoral roll. This is so it's taken into consideration whenever my credit report is searched. Tip number 2. Avoid too many applications. Every time you make a credit application, it leaves a hard mark on your file that other lenders can see. If a lender can see that you've made loads of applications, especially in a short period of time, it can impact you negatively because it might suggest to them that you are struggling financially. Say you apply for a credit card and get rejected. Then you apply for another one and get rejected. By the time you get to your 3rd application, you've already got those 2 previous searches on your record, which might make your chances of getting approved for the 3rd one more difficult. Tip number 3 is to use eligibility calculators. So this tip kind of ties into tip number 2. One way to avoid having to make multiple applications is to only apply for credit that you actually have a good chance of being approved for in the first place. Using tools like the Money Saving Expert Eligibility Calculator can help you do this. Once you've entered your details on the site, they'll do what's called a soft search, which lenders cannot see. They then show you credit cards or loans that you actually have a decent chance of being approved for, and that just avoids you going through the process of applying, getting rejected, applying, getting rejected, and then having all those hard searches on your credit file. I did this when I was applying for my balance transfer credit card to make sure I had the highest chance of getting accepted. Tip number 4 is sticking to the 25% credit utilization rule. Credit utilization just means how much of your available credit are you currently using. For example, if you have a credit card with a limit of £3,000 and you use £1,500 of it, then your credit utilization is 50%. It's generally recommended that not going above 25% credit utilization is looked upon favorably by lenders. It shows them that you can responsibly manage the money that you're being lent. In total, I've got £20,000 available across my credit cards. I always pay them off in full every month, but if for whatever reason I couldn't, I would try very, very hard to make sure that my total balance didn't go above £5,000 so that I'm staying within that safe 25% utilization zone. Tip number 5 is don't withdraw cash on a credit card. Now, I've never actually done this, but I've heard that it can have such a detrimental impact on your credit rating that I thought it would be worth mentioning. Withdrawing cash on a credit card is not only really expensive, but it can also look to a lender like you're not managing your money very well. Avoid it at all costs. Tip number 6 is to never miss a payment. This is one of the big ones. If you've ever been late or missed a payment, it can have one of the biggest negative impacts on your credit rating, as it might look to a lender like you're in financial difficulties. The longer time goes on, the less they will have an impact on your credit rating. But it's important to remember that they will stay on your report for a total of 6 years. Of course, the best way to make sure you never miss a payment is to pay as many things as possible by direct debit or standing order. I actually used to pay off my credit card manually every month. Why? It's really not a smart way to manage my finances. Now I've just got a direct debit that pays off the full amount every month. But there might be situations in life where you know that you're not going to be able to make a payment. You know, that's just how it is in life. It does happen. In that case, it might be worth trying to speak to the company involved just to explain the situation. The fact that you reached out to speak to them and try and explain might mean that they can actually work something out with you rather than marking your missed payment down straight away. Now, those are 6 tips that will help you improve your credit rating. And before you click off the video, there's one last important point that I want to make. Remember that applying for credit isn't only about avoiding rejection. People with bad credit can still get loans and credit cards. The problem is the absolutely extortionate interest rates that those people usually end up getting offered. That's why it's important to put a little bit of effort into improving improving your credit rating. At the end of the day, we all want to pay less interest so we've got more money in our own pockets. Obviously, the flip side of this is don't obsess over it. Check your credit report once a month just to make sure there's nothing dodgy going on. And that's all you need to do. If you found this video helpful, giving me a quick like would be very much appreciated. If you're interested in seeing more UK personal finance related content, then make sure you subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.